everybody, I'm Brent Gladwin, the owner of GR Motorsport, British Superbike team, and I'm here with Swinton Insurance to show you some of my little gems in my workshop. I thought I'd give you a little tour of the history of the team. We've been going for 25 years, but I've also got a massive passion for bikes, so I've got some things here that are pretty interesting. So the first thing I'd like to show you is this little beautiful RS250 Honda. It's a 1985 RS250 Honda ND5. I've made the tribute to Joey Dunlop, so that it's a replica tribute to him. It's not his bike. 1985 was a very special year for Honda. They, as everybody knows, Freddie Spencer did the double, winning the 250 and 500 World Championship. But Joey Dunlop won Honda's first TT since Halewood, lightweight TT, since Halewood won in '67 on the 6-cylinder Honda. It was also Honda's first ever lightweight TT using a two-stroke engine, and it was in a fantastic battle with Brian Reed and Stephen Cull. So Joey won the first TT. It was a great idea to make this tribute, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. The bike is quite interesting. We're in a pandemic year, 2020. It's caused some trouble, but it's caused some pleasure as well. So the odd beer and a gin and tonic and play with some motorbikes. We got this bike from Japan, and it wasn't like this at all when it arrived. Our tribute to Joey is just, he was a friend of mine. We travelled the world together, and I think it's fitting for the bike and for what Honda achieved that year. It's a great little bike. The main features of it for the time were the Comstar wheels, the first of the anti-dive brakes, the all-in-one exhaust pipes. So it was the first bike to use an aluminium beam frame as well. And also on this bike, quite a lot of the electronic connectors have got patent pending on it, which means that was a first as well. So a beautiful little motorbike. It's a beautiful, beautiful motorcycle. It's a Yamaha TZD750, and it's documented as chassis #1. This little bike, as I say, it was a beautiful bike from the time. It was factory backed, and it finished third in the 1978 TBC Big Race at Suzuki. That race changed the year after to the race we know today as the Suzuki 8-hour, and that is the significance of this bike. What I love about it is it's as it was in the museum. Apart from there's been a change of fairing and seat, I've managed to find the originals for that. So I pulled this apart and rebuilt the engine. You might see some film of it in a bit running, and we fired it up, and it was a bit of a saga really, because we were trying to fire it. It didn't want to fire, and I said, okay, we've tried. And I flicked the kill switch into off, and because I'm an idiot, I wired it up the wrong way around, and we kicked it into off, and the blooming thing fired up and nearly came off the rollers. So this bike actually finished third in the TBC Big Race at Suzuki in 1978. Kayana himself won the race. Warren Willing was second, and Roichi Mori, the famous #5, finished third. At the end of that race, this bike was purchased out of Parc Fermé in the claiming rules by Mr. Hayashi, who put the bike in the Fuji Motor Museum, and it stayed there until Mr. Hayashi passed away in the late 90s. The bike was then sold to Jim Fueling in America for his little museum, and then again sold by Rick Cole Auctions to the guy who I bought it off. The interesting part about this bike, again, Roichi Mori is still alive, and he's become a bit of a friend, even though, as you can tell, I can't speak English, being from Yorkshire, and he can't speak English and I can't speak Japanese. But recently a lovely little package arrived with some of his memorabilia from the time. It's a great bike, sounds fantastic, and I'm very, very, very proud to own it. 1999, what a year. The first year of the European Superstock Championship. The championship was designed to develop young riders for World Superbike under the Flamini Group. This little motorcycle was all built in the workshop, everything about it. The special parts of it are really non-existent. It was just attention to detail, weighing of conrods, weighing of pistons, people loving the bike, kissing and cuddling it. But there were a few other things, like Karl actually got injured and hurt his knee, so he couldn't bring his leg up properly. So we had to lift him up. We got this seat pad, which looks an abomination. And we set off, and at Donington Park, the very first race, Karl came out top of the youngsters and set the precedent. And by the end of the year, as we all know, going into the last two rounds at Assen and Hockenheim, at Assen on the little 750, Karl pulled away from Dave Jeffries on the all conquering R1 at over a second a lap to win the race. We'd had a protest that the bike wasn't legal. We were making 126 horsepower and we got a week to go. So some skilled politicians in the opposition team asked for a conrod and a third gear, which meant that Joe Proctor had to strip the bike with the help of the other guys completely in Parc Fermé, and the other teams expected we wouldn't be able to rebuild the bike in time to go to Hockenheim. Little did they know. Anyway, the guys rebuilt the bike, we loaded the truck, and off to Hockenheim we went. And at that point, it left it between ourselves, Karl Harris, 18, and Oliver Daniel Bulto, great-grandson of the Bultaco family, on the Aprilia. And it was quite a showdown. It got quite political. It was good fun. In the race, all Karl had to do was follow him all. It's part of the family. Karl's leathers up here, his trophies around, and this says it all. Great little bike, part of the family, and still in our orange and black. We love it. So here we are. This is the pinnacle for the bikes that are here today. British Superbike, BSB, as we all know it. We've been involved in it since 2014 as the current run, and this is our bike from 2020. So our decision was that we would put Storm Stacey at 17 on our Superbike. How did Storm go? Well, flipping heck, what can we say? We went to the first BSB test in Spain, never really, well, he hadn't rode the bike before, that was a fact. And by the end of 3 days at Monte Blanco, he was 13th quickest overall. Then we went to Jerez for 2 days and he ended up 15th quickest. And it looked like, hang on a minute, we might just become the youngest, the Royal Storm might just become the youngest point scorer in British Superbike history. Of course, then we got the pandemic strike, which, you know, when you're having a good day, somebody's got to cock it up for you. We went from 12 events to 6 events. Sounds a bit sad, but no, Stuart Higgs and his team, we put on 18 fantastic races. Storm scored points, and then he scored points again. He fulfilled everything that we could have ever have wished in such a weird year, and now we're looking forward to 2021. At the first races, he will still be 17, so there's a lot to come, but we're looking forward to it. Are you?